Take three. Did the sound not work again?
I don't think you clicked it.
Hold on. Let's just do this again, and I'm gonna keep going. We're not stopping this time though. They're getting fucking background access here. This is how fucking bad this has been. These two tries here.
I genuinely think you just didn't press play.
I think I did, but now.
Who let the hogs out?
This is Hog Planet, and what can I say? Again, Sam, I'm having trouble. Just there's a lot of buttons to press to get this thing to work so we don't have to edit it. You know, I want to play the song and I want it to just play and I share the audio and it's all good. But no, that's impossible.
Listen, folks, there's a lot of clicks. I mean,
Dance event a year, joined by Sam Lewis. Sam, let's move on. I don't want to talk about this, but that's gonna be part of the show. That's the show.
The flubs are like people like that, so it is what it is.
Yes.
Go watch NPR or CNN, whatever the fuck you want to watch. If you want to see this this garbage, you like this. So
National Pork Radio because they're a bunch of hogs. All right, we got a lot to talk about today, Sam. Number one, I've been shadow banned because as soon as I reached 420 followers, I dipped back down to 418. Do you have any comments on the shadow banning of my account? As I want to show the viewers at home, but the listeners, I have a nice basket of fruit here. Not basket, but a bowl of fruit.
This is your only consolation for being shadow banned.
It dripped on my mic stand.
Come on. This is why I'm not a fan of the table grapes. They're like kind of soggy looking. I don't know. Not my favorite fruit, but I'm
going upstate tomorrow. I have to eat them.
The one comment I have before you blast out of New York City.
Say it again.
The one comment I have before you blast out of here with your table grapes stowed away in your gut is regarding the fucking thing you were talking about. Damn it, you and your grapes. Damn, what was the thing you were literally just talking about before the grapes?
Shadow ban.
The reason, the thing I have to ask you about your shadow ban is when you're going to be on Matt Taibbi's Meet the Censored series on his Substack. Do you have a date, or
Matt,
do I just have to check my email notifications?
Absolutely, Matt. My DMs are open. If you and Katie Halper want to have me on Useful Idiots, I'll come on. I used to be a loyal listener, but it's become I don't know. I just it fell out of my rotation. I'm sorry. Your Substack got a little fucking annoying. What do you want me to say?
Your Substack is subpar, man. That was a sick burn, right? All right, fine.
I've been shadow banned. I think you should just leave after that one, but I think
I should be shadow banned.
Season 2 is out, and I haven't seen the whole thing. I've only watched the first 3 episodes because I unlike you, have some patience and can wait.
No, I don't. I've watched. Not to be a freak, but I've watched it multiple times since it came out. If you've got an hour to kill, you can get it done. I mean, it's only 15 minutes, 6 episodes. If you have the appetite for it, I think you should leave. Season 2 I think he, if not hits the mark of the first season, I think it's definitely strong enough that if you like the first season, you should watch this one. So it's the same kind of inimitable style of comedy. I don't know. What were your initial impressions, Dan?
Oh, it was great. I think that for a show that made its it kind of just blasted onto the scene and no one expected it to do as well as it did. I mean, it really held up in the season 2. I mean, some things don't have legs after their first season, but this definitely did. I am just
Yeah, and this is
trying
something that
to
has like a
find.
huge online presence, but it doesn't annoy me.
Yeah,
Like
that's a
it's
rare thing, isn't it?
like, did you see how like Ilhan Omar used the like we're all trying to find the guy who did this, like the hot dog costume meme? Have you seen that one?
Oh, she did do that? I didn't see that.
She used that meme to like own Exxon Mobil or something, or like some oil company made a tweet about like we need to stop global warming, and then she quote tweeted it with that meme, and I was like, damn, that's some good memeing right there. But I was also surprised. I was like, that has this kind of resonance. Like it had like 6-figure likes on it. I was like, I thought this show was kind of like niche, but obviously it's not. It's just like it's a show where I think part of the appeal is supposed to be that it's like kind of niche, or it feels like something that you can, would be a cult classic, even though I think it does have a pretty wide viewership. But because it's Netflix, we'll never fucking know what the actual ratings are.
No, and you just like Joe Rogan, it's it's the same type of thing. You're just never gonna know because they don't release them. So is anyone really watching or listening? I don't know. Will Sommer reports that not a great sign for Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell in their election fraud hearings that one of their main lawyers appears to be crying. What is it with crying in the courtroom? We have these
Do you have video of it?
morons, the election fraud idiots, and you have Michael Avenatti crying in the courtroom. What is going on, Sam, in the courtrooms of America?
I mean, sometimes they're emotionally charged, but I have very little court experience, but I will say like my overall impression of like most court proceedings is that they're very boring, like, and unemotional. So it is funny to see like someone like Avenatti, just literally crying. Maybe this is like a last gasp for attention from this guy, but it's hard to tell what he's doing. I like it though. I think it's fun.
And Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell. I mean, Michael Avenatti obviously was that thumb-headed moron who was like making a run for president, I guess. And
he represented Stormy Daniels. Like it's hard to even remember why these names.
Exactly.
But
oh my god, who cares?
Remember that? This is the
And
meme I was talking about for the listeners. It's the hot dog meme where Tim Robinson's dressed up in the hot dog costume saying, we're all trying to find the guy who did this. I think it's a fun background. Anyway, yeah, but Michael Avenatti, why the hell do we even care? Other than the fact that it's funny that he was crying in a courtroom.
I mean, I don't really, but that Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell's lawyer is crying is also funny because I mean, that's two crying lawyers, but their crying is for the other side.
I know everyone, and Rudy was like farting in courtrooms. No, never more, because
I think that has come up on 3 episodes since we came back.
I know, but it's still so good. I just, there's something so pure about a good fart joke. But with Lynn Wood, I mean, these people, I think like the reason they're crying is they hitched their wagon to something, to a rising star that no one has heard from. I mean, it's been refreshing not to hear about Trump or hear from Trump for a while now, for like 6 months, I guess. But for these people, it's like the fall of the Soviet Union. If you're like, like a satellite state, you know what I mean? Like it's no good. Like what are they don't have an exit strategy. But what is Rudy Giuliani going to do after this? I mean, if we don't get some new like person
it's like
who can carry the Trump
job, it's like he's got nothing else to do.
And he wasn't getting paid to do it anyway. So who knows what he was doing in the first place? I don't know. It's you'd love to see it though. Honestly,
he's gonna write the worst tell-all that like liberals are gonna like eat the shit out of it. Just like, Giuliani's against Trump now, so he's good.
If Rudy goes full like never Trumper,
like Michael
does
Cohen,
like the Michael Cohen, yeah, exactly. Then I mean, that will really be the end of Trumpism, and they're gonna do something else. But I do wonder about it because obviously there's like the Marjorie Taylor Greens and the Lauren Boberts and whatever, and these other kind of QAnon friendly, I guess, politicians.
Hold on. Speaking of that,
what do they do without Trump?
I don't is Madison Cawthorn QAnon friendly? I actually can't confirm that. But let's hear what he sounds like. And David Roth of Defector puts it best when he says, "How had I gone so long without hearing this guy's voice? He sounds like Porky Pig imitating Ben Shapiro." Madison Cawthorn, CPAC 2021.
And now they're starting to talk about going door to door to be able to take vaccines to the people. Think about the mechanisms they would have to build to be able to actually execute that massive of a thing. And then think about what those mechanisms could be used for. They could then go door to door, take your guns. They can go door to door, take your Bibles.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's serious. And brother,
I'm letting it play again. So what do you think he sounds like? I mean,
think about the
to me, he sounds like a dog toy that you step on and it's kind of just like deflating slowly.
What those mechanisms could be used for.
He sounds like he just took a huge fucking toke of helium, honestly. I don't know how a voice like this occurs in nature. He sounds worse than Ben Shapiro, honestly. Compared to that.
If that's possible, he certainly has pulled it off.
This might be medical proof that your vocal cords are actually contained in your legs. So if you lose feeling in your legs, then you can't talk anymore.
Let's before we move on, I want to actually look that up. Is Madison Cawthorn into QAnon?
Oh, I did look it up. He says apparently he has disavowed them, but he is considered like on that kind of wing of the current day Republican Party.
Makes sense. And he's the wheelchair bound, very young. I think he's younger than us. I think he's like 27 or something. Congressman.
Yeah, that's always
extremely
disturbing.
Conservative and weird and not good guy.
Wasn't he the one who visited like Hitler's vacation home or something? And everyone.
Sorry, I just am seeing this. Sam's background is now Madison Cawthorn.
Yeah, with like a preposterously large rifle with a preposterously large scope and a dog. I guess he wheeled himself out there, or maybe this was taken before his.
I think that it was a staged fucking shot. It's not like you're telling me there's wheelchairs, and I don't mean to be ableist, but you're telling me there's wheelchairs that you can go in the woods.
Is this? I don't know. I guess. I mean, maybe he's got like a really heavy duty one.
He's also been accused of sexual harassment and misconduct from people who went to college with him. There's a whole BuzzFeed story on that.
Remember when George H.W. Bush was accused of misconduct, and they were like, "He's in a wheelchair.
Then he died soon after. That was like his last news cycle.
Yeah, I remember them saying that he was like known as David Copperfield or something.
Yeah, that was bad. I'm sure we talked about it at the time, actually, on the program here. But all right, why don't we? All right,
the last thing I have on Cawthorn. I have on Cawthorn is that when he was like defending himself, posting about going to Hitler's summer home, he did refer to Hitler as the Führer, which is like referring to him like colloquially as the Führer is a little interesting, I will say. So I mean, like, how could this guy have sympathies to the Aryan nation or whatever? But either way, he freaks me out. I'm glad to hear that his voice is entirely unintimidating and that he sounds like a little bitch, because helps me sleep better at night. What can I say?
Now you brought up Bush, and I agree with you on Cawthorn. He's
I know what you're gonna say, and this is already making me so mad.
Can you pull the quote? Can you pull up the quote? I believe it was in Politico. At least where I read it, that George Bush had some comments on the troop withdrawal in Afghanistan. He comes out of his like painting hole, and I can relate to this. I'm also
you and Bush should have a paint off.
I would kick the shit out of him. You listen to
Bush
Bush
circles.
You listen to Bush.
Yeah,
George Bush, the ass clown.
God, George Bush is also.
I decided I wouldn't sell the ass clown painting for more than for less than $200 to $500. You'd have to buy it from me.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a steal.
And I'm not even the commander in chief.
You're the command. Well, you're like a co-commander in chief of this podcast, I suppose.
Speaking of commander in chief, our video viewers can check out the new. Oh, I dropped it. Fuck! It literally fell in my. It fell, but I had a Hog Planet lighter.
This is how Bush feels about it. They picked such a fucking hideous photo of this.
Can you show them your Hog Planet lighter?
Yes.
Turn it over. It's backwards.
Being obscured by Bush.
Obscured by Bush. Bush. No. Okay, there we go. Okay, now you can see the lighter over Bush's face. But Sam, do you have Bush's quote there about the troop withdrawal? Because it's really, I mean, the guy.
Yeah.
Clearly
I got
has
the quote right here for you.
My vibe from the quote before you read it is Bush is saying continue the war that I started because I started it, and you should continue it.
Yeah.
And if you take them out, then the things that are already happening are still going to happen, and we won't be there.
And this has been the argument for like fucking 15 years at this point. It's ridiculous, even longer. But so the quote from Bush, he was apparently asked whether Biden like continuing the deathfully slow process of withdrawing troops from Afghanistan after all these years. In reaction, George Bush said, I think it is a mistake because I think the consequences are going to be unbelievably bad and sad. Like he had to use like this is
gonna
like
be unbelievably sad,
bad and sad.
Do you know?
We will never.
Do you know what you have done? Sad, millions dead, maimed,
like
legless.
And people forget that George Bush was one of our first truly monosyllabic presidents. Like Trump got a lot of attention for his use of the phrase "sad" and like his, unbelievable, the great, everything's, huge and all this. He was a monosyllabic president for sure, but Bush was the first one. I remember Bush, like I'm old enough to remember that people were scandalized by how dumb Bush sounded when he was talking, even compared to, come on, like Bill Clinton's whole appeal was that he was the Bubba, but the dude was still like, he was like a Rhodes Scholar. Like he was fucking he's an articulate man.
Well, I would say that Bush's reputation for dumbness was even more than Trump's reputation for dumbness. I would say
there was no like Trumpisms. Was there a Trumpisms calendar? I had the Bushisms calendar.
Probably every. Of course,
you're actually probably right.
Well, Sam also had the shirt. I hated Bush before it was cool. Do you know what I had taped in my locker senior year or eighth grade? Eighth grade. It wasn't senior year. That was way after. That was way later. But eighth grade, I had taped in my locker. It was like George Bush as like a monkey. It was like a political cartoon, and it said Iraq on a whiteboard and Afghanistan, Iraq and Al Qaeda on a whiteboard, and it was like circling the Q's. And he's like, "We've established a clear link." To me, that was like the funniest thing on earth at that time.
Oh my God.
It was like, that is sticking it to the powerful, dude.
Yeah. I mean,
so
the Bush years were dark for that reason, but like, yeah, the consequences of leaving troops in Afghanistan is unbelievably bad and sad, and has been unbelievably bad and sad, as our so articulate former president wants to say. So I who fucking cares? Like, this is like asking an exterminator about the rights of roaches. Like, this is the way he sees himself, like this wasn't fought for like any kind of peace in the Middle East nonsense. It was just a conflict that was going to occur. And the fact that there were, millions of civilians in the way meant nothing to George Bush or to, what Donald Rumsfeld died recently. I hate when they die just like surrounded by their loved ones, like fucking happy as a clam, just rich and old. That's so shitty.
And
then everyone does like the rest
so much more. There's such fucking like, when you talk about like real hog men, I mean, just true like fucking like just gluttons for suffering. And this is it.
Absolutely.
Quintessential.
No.
Are we ready to move on from this? Because we have a lot more to talk about.
Absolutely. I mean, just fuck George Bush.
Yeah, obviously. Worse president than Trump, for sure. Agree? Disagree, Sam?
Oh, yeah.
Way worse president.
Oh, yeah.
Trump, right?
Yeah, Trump still doesn't have the Iraq war. I mean, I don't know. The
he doesn't have the body count. He doesn't have the body. Well, maybe COVID. I don't know.
Is pretty bad. But like, would Joe Biden or like would Obama have like had a lower death toll? Like, I think it would have been lower. I don't know if it would have been like the big sea change difference that people expected that it would be. So, and the vaccine was created under Trump. I'm not trying to like argue in favor of the guy, but you got to be like a little
sure. If you're going to credit
Biden
with everything, you got to credit Trump with whatever happened when he was president, but also credit him with all the fucking people, the bodies piling up in refrigerator trucks outside of fucking Brooklyn. Anyway, What do you got on Haiti? What's going on? I hear it's the United States did it.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing too. Is that like some of the people were like ex-DEA, and now there's like a bunch of like prominent people saying like please invade Haiti to the United States, and the fact that it's also occurring at the same time as this like SOS Cuba thing, which I'm not saying is like 100% an op, because I think there's a lot of nuance with that situation. It still seems like the US is trying to do something odd, and there's something underhanded in the Caribbean broadly. I would say that this like fits in with what the US did under Obama in like Africa. Obama setting up a massive military presence in like North and Central Africa, coinciding with, of course, like the complete destruction of Libya. That does seem to be the way this wing of I guess the left wing of like the US military, I guess that's like how it operates. But I don't know. We won't know for certain at the moment. I'm definitely not like totally up to date on everything that's been coming out, but it does seem like a little fishy. That's my like armchair foreign affairs opinion there.
Well, I'm sure our people appreciate you for it, Sam. And why don't we reward you by talking about your favorite topic, your favorite football team, the Washington football team. Was that how you were going to introduce the Washington football team, with Homer Simpson? Whatever meme it is, it's cut off.
I know. I can't figure out this. I
got banana on my hands. Is that possible? Like I have banana hands. I'm washing
with just like
tissue.
the band.
Washing it. I'm washing my fingers right now.
Is that tissue. Like a wipe, or is it?
It's a tissue. It's a dry tissue. Like
I mean, is that banana grease like sticky? I don't eat bananas. Not a fan. The plantains though, I will eat those. Or plantains. I don't know how you pronounce it. But
you
like,
think you're gonna get out of talking about the Washington football team on this show?
No, of course not. I wanted to bring it up as resident expert because I had the potential to work as the manager of contractors at Dan Snyder's house.
Did you pull that? Do you have those in front of you? I can get it. Hold on. Why don't you vamp for a second?
No, I have it right here.
Oh, you got it.
The Washington football team.
Read them off, baby.
They're, of course, like this. They would like this problem to just sink into the ocean. They wish they could have just been known as the Washington R words for Native Americans, not for like, not for like whatever the PC way of saying the other R word is.
Tammy,
anyway,
what have you done?
Listen, this is what they've
done to my boy.
I could have been somebody. Instead, it became problematic. Anyway, the Washington football team, formerly known as the Washington Racial Slurs, is going to pick a new team name, a new logo in 2022. And Fox 5 reported on some of the choices that are up on the docket. We've got number 1, the Washington Monarchs. Thoughts?
Well, my thoughts on that are it's regal, it's classy. I mean, the Monarchs, it's genderless. It's what does it say? It says power. Football
kind of antithetical to the whole DC thing, though, because like
that's true. Monarchs are not elected.
King George and stuff.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know, but it is fitting
this
for the
country
US
was
empire.
How about this? Conservative, fucking buffs of like the Revolutionary War, right? They'll be like, this is problematic.
Yeah.
We seceded from Britain so we could. Hey, I thought this was a democracy. I didn't realize so we could elect our leaders with the Electoral College.
Oh man, no, I'm also envisioning like an alarmist liberal being out there, like something along the lines of like the Washington football team has renamed itself the Monarchs. Here's what you need to know. Number 1, this is following in a long tradition of absolutism and totalitarianism. Either way. All right. So we've got
okay, what else we got?
We got number 2, the step down from Monarchs. We've got the Washington Presidents.
Okay. But I mean, the presidency has been profaned so much by Trump and Biden. Like, do we really want that? And Bush and Reagan. I mean, Clinton. I mean, he was on the island.
I don't know what to say about like it's sort of just like someone was like, we can't just call them the senators. We already tried that one. So what's next? Like presidents, what the Washington representatives. This honestly, the statesmen isn't a terrible name.
The Washington congresspersons.
Yeah, I mean, like, what do you think about the Washington statesmen? But then it makes it sound like Washington State, not like Washington D.C. I don't know.
So why don't we just keep going here? What's the next one?
Okay, the Washington Red Wolves.
Red Wolves. So I'm thinking Crash Bandicoot. Is Crash Bandicoot a red wolf?
Yeah, what the fuck is a red wolf?
An animal?
I'm gonna see if like
wolves. What the hell is that? That's like Game of Thrones bullshit. Red wolves. Is that a real thing?
So there's Red Wolf Airsoft, which is the most trusted retail and online airsoft store. Not sponsored by this podcast. If they want to sponsor us, get at us. Anyway, there's also the Red Wolf, which is a canine native to the southeastern United States. I don't know. Maybe it's like a regional thing. I've never seen a red wolf in the area. Doesn't mean that they're not like out there.
Synonym for a fox?
I guess it's probably like similar. I could put up a picture. Like they look it looks like kind of like a little punk ass wolf. It's doing like, you know, the meme with like the buffed dog and then the like wimpy dog. It looks kind of like the wimpy dog in that meme.
I see. Well, are there any more?
All right. Yeah, there are a couple more here. Red Wolves, I feel like the problem with it is that it coming off the heels of the last one.
Like, is it just because it's red and they want to just keep doing the same theme?
Yeah, they want the cadence, I guess, like the Washington Red Wolves instead of saying, you know, skins. I don't know. I'm not a fan.
The skins.
All right, so we got another one back into the like the administrative.
So weird how the abbreviated name of the team used to be the Skins. That's like that's what I grew up like. Everyone called them the Skins,
like the potato skins. That's what they should call them. Actually,
the skin ointments.
The Skins. Why don't you just call them the Skins? I don't know. I guess maybe because who knows?
Again, it's the same problem as Red Wolves.
It's too loaded. Yeah, you gotta scrap the whole thing. Okay, so in the vein of scrapping the whole thing, they've got the next one up. Commanders.
I just don't like that at all. I mean, is it commander in chief? Is that the implication?
Yeah, or like the master and commander.
Russell Crowe.
Oceans are now battlefields. Yada yada.
Yeah. Classic.
All right.
Classic.
And then the last one on here is Renegades, which
that's the best one.
Yeah, it's kind of the best one. I think
they're not they're not renegades against anything. That is the point, but that is the irony.
Yeah, because it's literally the nation's capital.
Systemic, sort of like processy, like, you know what I mean? There's nothing rebellious about the Washington
no,
team.
but it's a bit. But if you're gonna like call back, make a historical one, and maybe there's like a call. Why don't they call them like well, they can't say rebels because that makes it sound like it's some kind of like, you know, the South will rise again thing. I don't know. I guess like harkening back to DC's rebellious past is a savvy marketing move, I suppose. But okay, I don't know. All these names kind of sound like shit.
What happened to just picking a fucking animal? Like,
that's what they tried to do with Red Wolves. They got to pick a different one.
Just think the ferrets, the weasels.
Yeah,
that's who belongs in DC is the weasels because of Washington deep state.
What about the herons or something? There's a lot of herons here. I don't know. I'm not a. This is out of my wheelhouse, but still.
Let's talk about the Dianne Morales tweet. I'm gonna read it out loud right now. Do you want me to share screen it?
Nah, there's no reason to. I want you to put your own particular read on it.
Okay, well, Ross Barkan is a pretty nonpartisan, honestly, journalist in New York City. He's written a book about Andrew Cuomo called The Prince, Andrew Cuomo, Coronavirus in the Fall of New York, which I believe is already out. I definitely should probably read that because fuck Andrew Cuomo. So someone quote tweeted his New York Magazine article about the implosion of the Dianne Morales campaign. someone named Alana, and she said, I'm tired at Dianne for NYC, and her campaign had issues, but saying she has a hell of a temper and no history in the movement despite her nonprofit and community work is a painful reminder of the unfair scrutiny that women of color are still forced to face when running. Ross responds, the irony here is the hell of a temper line was a quote from a person who worked directly with her and experienced this. And yes, being a nonprofit exec for 10 years and voting for Cuomo and backing charters are not qualifiers for existing in left movement spaces. And then the kicker, Dianne says, I've quietly tolerated a lot of your biased journalism, in quotes, for a long time, but I will, all caps, not tolerate you attempting to define my existence in any, all caps, space. White men trying to tell me where I do or don't belong is one of the very reasons I ran in the first place. Not today, sir. And then she later
wasn't
says,
saying where you do or do not belong. He was saying that you weren't in those spaces. That's a different.
She also
Come
said,
fucking on.
She also said, I'm not looking to check your boxes or anyone else's for that matter. You will not define me or tell me what space I can occupy on any day, on any issues. If you want to ascribe to others' metrics, feel free to apply them to yourself. I'm not here for it. What the fuck does any of this mean? This was the left candidate for mayor at one point. Hilarious.
She's getting ratioed too. You hate
Cuomo,
to say it.
she voted for Cuomo and she supported charter schools. That means you're not the left. Just because you can talk a big game about police brutality and have a weird like following of like, I don't know, fucking like online like teens or something. Like I think that was most of the campaign.
Dan, it sounds like you're gatekeeping her body from a space and you're also gaslighting. So
these are spaces and that they can't be bodies, they're spaces.
Mm-hmm. My body.
You cannot tell me which body I can occupy and that my spaces.
Are you silencing my voice? You silenced my voice.
I'm silencing you. Let's move on to talk. This is actually a good. No. Put your headphones back on. Get. All right, he's back. Okay.
I don't believe in
this is a good segue to the critical race theory thing.
Yes.
So, Sam, can you intro this? Because I honestly chose to skip this whole discourse cycle, so I really don't know much about what this all is about. But all I know is there is a petition to stop critical race theory in the Northern Valley Regional High School, which is where we grew up. And do you want me to read from the petition a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Stop critical race theory in the Northern Valley. Northern Valley Regional High School Board of Education has recently retained the services of Dr. Edward Fergus as an equity consultant. For those unfamiliar with the term equity, please make no mistake that it has nothing to do with equality, and frankly is quite the opposite. Equity proponents and critical race theorists are aimed to reverse 60 years of civil rights victories and indeed solely judge children on color of their skin and completely ignore individual content of character. The 14th Amendment
MLK
of the
would hate
States,
this.
Sam, wait for this. The 14th Amendment, the last line is the kicker. The 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution strictly prohibits anything less than equal protection under the law. Equity consultants like Dr. Fergus and critical race theorists ignore any sort of equal protection by dividing groups into either oppressed or oppressor. We must petition for his dismissal to save our children from the indoctrination of equity. Required freshman reading in 2020 included a book from author Ibram X. Kendi, who has, did they make them read How to Be an Anti-Racist? Jesus. Who has written, he, quote, hates white people and white people are a, quote, devil race. More reprehensible readings will surely find our classrooms if Dr. Fergus continues to work within our district. Yeah, don't read anything the founding fathers wrote. Yikes. The sole goal of critical race theory and equity is to blame young children's skin color on all inequities another race may be facing. They take nothing else into consideration, including socioeconomics or family structure. This will teach division and hate and will continue to oversimplify real problems facing inner city communities. Our tax dollars should not be paying those who profit from dividing our children merely because they were born one skin color or another. Marxist ideology and racist ideas have no place
How
in
did they
the
leave that for the
classrooms
last
or
sentence?
anywhere in America. Please sign and say character counts in the Valley.
Oh my God. This is like the screed of one of the like most insane
Marxist
Facebook
ideology
grandpas.
and racist ideas. Racist
Yeah.
ideas. I can think of a lot of racist ideas that they already teach in school. I don't know.
No,
Ibrahim
their whole
Kendi's
thing.
also a pretty mild fucking like. It's not like they're making them read like Adolf Reed or something.
Yeah, I think a lot of people end up like have read that book, and it hasn't fomented a communist revolution in this country yet.
Marxist ideology.
Yeah, this makes sense for our area, which is a shame. What I think is going on with the critical race theory thing and the obsession with like stopping, even just like you said, relatively commonly read anti-racist texts from ending up in front of their kids is it's a way for them to just get it so that anything can be kept, like a race can be kept out of the classroom. It may shock some of our listeners to hear that the history of the United States involves a lot of racism. They want that not to be focused on. There are lots of like grassroots quote unquote organizations that have popped up to prevent, go up against this in Texas. Specifically, the first one I heard about was in Loudoun County, Virginia. And that also makes sense because Loudoun County, Virginia is like 2 counties outside of Washington, D.C. It's where a lot of it's former farmland, but there are also a lot of like I don't know, rich Republican assholes and like other conservatives who are very much urbanites and made all their money in DC and in Arlington and stuff. And then they go out there and buy like a winery or a ranch or something and cosplay rural for a while. And that it makes sense that that's where it popped up because those people feel like they've settled that area. But areas like that, especially Loudoun County, as I can definitely like attest to, there are a ton of like immigrants out there. A lot of Indian people have moved out there, and it creates this kind of like white anxiety in these exurban and suburban communities. That's definitely been going on for a long time where we're from. Big influx of like Korean immigrants and like other Asian and like and also like Hispanic immigrants. And the white people there are kind of losing their shit. And that's like where these like Marjorie Taylor Greene is from Alpharetta, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta. Like it's people who are right outside of blue areas who made their money off of like being urbanites and then wanted to go like cosplay, suburb, like real America 2 towns over or whatever. And then when people from the city who can't afford to live in the city limits start living out there instead, they freak the fuck out. I mean, there's also Lauren Boebert lives in like ski country, like the Shooter's Grill or whatever that she runs is out in like ski country, Colorado, a blue state.
The diarrhea
like they're
restaurant.
always, yeah, basically. It's always people who
no, literally her restaurant, Lauren Boebert, QAnon congresswoman, literally her restaurant gave like hundreds of people diarrhea. I think we might have talked about it at some point. But critical race theory seems to me like total Tucker Carlson bullshit. It's just another fucking culture war thing. It's the same as it ever was. Like this is like nothing new. It's just that the schools feel an obligation now to and we can talk about this now.
But I also want to be clear that critical race theory is a legal, like a scholarly pursuit in the legal field. It's something that legal scholars talk about. It's something that you learn in law school. Is basically the argument that the U.S.'s institutions are what drive racism and drive and it like talks about the processes. And they're like like Kimberly Crenshaw was a student of like Derek Bell and like all these other, they're like it's not something that's taught in like middle school or high school. Like it's not necessarily worth it to say that because it is worth being taught and it's not like something dangerous. I don't want to concede anything.
No, but it's
that.
like literally like you, that's not something that is taught. Like you don't learn critical race theory as a child. So this is just fucking stupid fucking suburban fucking, just beer-bellied fucking dads and fucking QAnon moms and just normal ass like Facebook moms just like, oh no, my son's gonna feel alienated for 2 seconds at school. But it's like, how do you think like, I don't know, how do you think other races feel when they read about slavery and stuff? It's like,
yeah,
I mean,
or the way it's glossed over when like slaves are called immigrants, or when like,
or how they really
say that like the U.S. was unsettled. Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. No, I mean, there are plenty of atrocities that are brought up, and like I think with critical race theory, they've seized on it because it sounds scary to a certain kind of person. Genuinely, I think that's it. It is a real thing that exists, so people can't just be like they're making up something. Like critical race theory is like a real, kind of way of studying the law and interpreting them in the United States.
But it's not this
its
like new
structures and
addition to the
institutions.
curriculum, right? It's not
It's
this
not.
like
It's
not like as a
relatively
result
new
of
to like the academy, but it's not.
So what do you think about like the district hiring this like equity consultant?
I think it's fine. It's very common. Like it's
It's like having a diversity and inclusion department, which every company has.
It's like having it's an HR thing. They just hired a fucking HR guy. Calm the fuck
Yeah.
down. Like no one else has ever cared this much about some kind of about this sort of like hiring and like the board of ed. It's just because it's like it's framed this way, and because people in our fucking area are really racist. They are, and they're like and especially race. I don't know. Like we didn't grow up with a lot of black kids.
Well, we talked about it last summer with fucking the whole blackface school board member who got fired, Dan Eller. I don't even.
No, there's been plenty of like scandals at our school.
Like there's he's just one. Like we've heard of multiple blackface scandals and things much more sickening than that. So, this school's biggest problem is not like them being forced to read like the very mild works of Ibram X Kendi, who I've read a little bit of his stuff, and it's not exactly like it's made for like white liberals. It's not like intense. Like he's not like fucking Malcolm X, or even like they're not
reading like Fanon. Like
you're not reading like it's not even like James Baldwin. It's not. I don't want to say he's on the same level as Robin DiAngelo and White Fragility, because that's just like corporate HR diversity bullshit. But just kind of the shit that is just completely so companies can pretend they're not racist when they pay garbage.
Yeah. I'm not like that familiar with his work, but I do know that it is widely read, and it is not causing like the society.
Well, that's the main point. And his other book, Stamped from the Beginning, I've read more of, is pretty solid. The late Michael Brooks recommended on his show, so that's how I first heard about it. And then Ibram X Kendi kind of blew up last summer in the whole, George Floyd protests, which like. We can talk about this a little bit, now, and kind of intersperse this in with this, but kind of, it was a hard thing to realize. And I guess we needed like a breather from doing the podcast, because like it was a hard thing to realize like that, as much as we hoped that some like revolution was happening, it like really wasn't. And all
I know
really
the most brutal thing is how everything stays the same. It fucking sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. They never defunded the police, but that is something that is brought up to criticize every Democrat, but it's like they don't want to do it. They raised the budgets of the police.
They managed to get the worst of both worlds, which is that they did not defund the police. So like they're the blue, people who would otherwise support the Democrats are like, fuck is wrong with you? Then the Republicans act as if it already happened, and like their base doesn't fucking care. The fact that Democrats even like paid any lip service to any of this is signed to them that they're in cahoots with David Dinkins or whatever to like fucking like overthrow the police of the world. It's so stupid. I don't know. It is like it's crushing. And honestly, if anything, I've seen more and more of the Blue Lives Matter flags everywhere like that. I'm not saying that like the protests caused this. Definitely not. I'm like, it's just a shame is what I'm saying. Like, it's not like I don't want to hint at any like causality between like, oh, you protested and you made them all more angry. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm trying to say in general is like, it's just a little crushing. Like, as someone who like believed in, what I was seeing. And I also, it's just like, I said this when coronavirus first happened. I was like, something's got to give with society. Yeah. Like we can't keep going right? This way. And every time it means like,
everyone is just being like the boot is on their neck, and how long until just there's like this powder keg moment. And that was something, but it was like the ultimate result was what they pulled the blackface episodes of It's Always Sunny, and 30 Rock. Like,
Yeah, but
that's
there's
what
Black Lives
lasting
Matter
change is
flags on
created.
all the stuff downtown. and
There's
I'm
more
just like,
Black Lives Matter posters in convenience stores,
which there's nothing
which is
wrong with that, but
good.
it's like I don't want to be like Glenn Greenwald here, but like Jesus Christ, like it's just like
No, but I thought
it's
like
just like a little
revolution
soul
was
crushing.
coming.
Yeah.
I believed that like maybe they would defund the police at least, but that has not occurred, and doesn't look like it's gonna occur really. They didn't even do the whole thing in fucking in Minnesota that they were gonna do. I think the council like voted it down, right? That they were gonna like abolish the police or something in Minneapolis or something.
It was
I
never
think that
going to
wasn't
happen.
gonna
That was just
fucking
meant to,
happen.
there was
As much as we want it to happen, it'll never. It's
headlines.
not. This is not the country we live in. Like our utopia is not America. You know, whatever,
no, and it's crushing. And honestly, maybe like another thing that like we didn't expect is like the upstart of these fucking wackos talking about critical race theory in like suburbs across the country and exurbs where these people, no, they're not teaching they're not reading any of that shit in like in Loudoun County public schools. Like, are you fucking
or in Northern
kidding me?
Valley public schools?
No, it's just, but it's another thing like with the defund the police thing where the Republicans can tell their base that it has already happened and that it's already happening, or that like they have to resist it right now, and their base snaps to it like that. Like, it's fucking crazy. No,
it's similar. Honestly, it reminds me of QAnon. It's like it's that similar like, oh, okay, this is what we're supposed to be mad about now. Okay, let's do it. Like everybody lockstep.
We got it. Yeah. And the fucking speed with which these people like decided that they knew what critical race theory is, which I guarantee most of these people don't. It's not even like, useful to bring that up anymore because it's they've already accepted it as such a fait accompli that critical race theory is being taught in every school across the country. Liberals have defunded the police everywhere across the country. Like it's fucking crazy. Like, and I don't know, it makes me wonder like about protests as like a method of change, because it seems like there have been protests like continuing for like my whole life and since I've like lived in DC, and like none of the issues that anyone's protested for have ever changed. I'm not saying it like they're not important, but like
it's a way of expression. It's not a way you change. It's not a way to make change. It just isn't. It's not like lasting change. I mean, I thought it was, but it's clearly that wasn't going to happen in this regard. Maybe you can if like you're.
I know we have to
doing,
we have to do work every day that now.
This would work. Yeah, I mean, we just everything kept turning. The wheels of society just, everything just keeps going, and it's like, well, I guess we talked about it on this show a lot. Like our hopes and dreams for society, maybe it was, or something. I don't know, just like these kind of ideas that maybe things are really changing for the better for a moment here, and the country is going to course correct because we have realized that we made a mistake. But that doesn't happen in this country. You dig in and you dig deeper, and you just are like, oh well, Q didn't arrest the Obamas today. That's okay. It's gonna happen tomorrow. Like the sky is gonna fall today. It didn't. Okay, it's gonna fall tomorrow. I mean, it's the same. It's
faith.
Bullshit.
It's faith.
It's faith.
It's with them. It's faith that the apocalypse is gonna happen, and with the business as usual people, it's faith that we're almost there. We just need to keep plugging, and we'll figure this whole thing out. Even though it's becoming patently obvious that that's not true.
Okay.
But, the one glimmer of hope I had from the protests to close out is that when you're at a protest, I think you see your fellow humans in a different light, and it kind of changes you a little bit, and it changes the people around you, and that is actually like the most crucial thing for protest. Like sending a message to people to because I don't know if that matters that much, because people in the suburbs look and see, or every city has been burned down. Like New York has been burned down, DC's been burned down, Los Angeles has been burned down by rioters because of the protests. Like they don't get a clear image. Like it sends a message, but I don't know. It's not the message that you get from being at the protest and like also seeing other people there, and the message that they get from seeing you. And like that message of like human solidarity, I think is like the most crucial thing. And that's like the biggest change that happened, at least in me, from the protests. And I feel it now also. I've been trying to get more involved with mutual aid orgs in the city, like Ward 2 Mutual Aid and Feel the People and some other ones. And
I was asking, put some links in the description.
Absolutely. We'll link
DC
to them.
Listeners, so put some links in there.
But
for that mutual aid stuff. But
and mutual aid is
Well, you told me that it was a way. It changed the way you see the let's say the houseless.
Yeah. Because one of the big things that War 2 does is they just go into the encampments and they just like ask people what they need and distribute what they have. And it's on like that, forging that human connection will make you see people in a different light. And like actually, if you approach it from like the perspective of like I'm here to like actually help and I actually want to talk to you and actually ask what you need, it kind of changes the way you see things. And I think you can get something similar like that from a protest. And I think you can get it from just, organizing with fellow people or just doing something good, even just volunteering or doing something good with your time. So that's the one lesson that this like whole thing has or this whole summer of unrest kind of put into me. And also the crushing realization of how brutally racist this country is. I mean, which gets reinforced daily. But either way, yeah, I guess that's how we can close out a year since the summer of unrest.
The last thing I want to say is ultimately it's like things like a podcast or even just like conversation, like where you intensely like know you're right about something, like it doesn't change anyone's mind. Like your uncle's not going to vote for Bernie, just give it up, like it's at a certain point you got to just fucking move on and accept that like some people are just fucking dumb as fuck and are gonna just freak out about critical race theory, and they're gonna freak out about QAnon, and they're going to freak out about the George Soros vaccines and the Rothschild JFK assassinations. What can I say? The Jews did 9/11. No, I'm a Jew. I'm allowed to say it. No. I actually wanted to say an example of how this sort of woke language has been co-opted is this new Spike Lee ad, which I want to play on the show, but it's got music on it, and I don't want to get pulled off YouTube, so I'm not going to play it, but you can look it up, and you can pause and look it up if you really want to. But it's just like Spike Lee doing his thing, but it's like being woke about like saying like for too long, like black people have, been like shut out of like wealth or something like that. And it's like, here's the way to solve that. Bitcoin.
Yeah. No, it was literally as cynical as you're saying, to the point that it like seems like it had to be designed to make a certain subset of the internet either super happy or super mad. But yeah, no, it said stuff like old money never did anything for us, so that's why we need new money to do something for us. Like he's like, new money is good. And I was like, Bitcoin is created through just utter like environmental degradation. Like it is literally like you turn on the pollution machine.
Just like, I mean, just the heat.
Yeah, because it's based. I mean, for any listeners who don't know, it's basically generated by like computers solving very complex mathematical equations over time, and that's how the value of the blockchain is derived or whatever. And solving all that computing power that they need to perform those calculations takes a ton of energy. So they wind up setting them up next to like hydroelectric dams, like parts of Oregon that don't have like, that have like very cheap electricity, like near, just anywhere they can get cheap electricity. And they can like blow up and start fucking, because they basically have to run like a ton of exhaust fans also to keep up with the amount of output from these computers. So it really is like, the evil villain turns on, I'm stealing this from a tweet, but like it turns on the fucking pollution machine and prints money out of it that's fake. Like it's really fucking bad.
Yeah. All right. I think we've said enough about that. Let's move on to Bolsonaro. Jair Bolsanaro is in the hospital with hiccups. Now, I didn't know that you could be hospitalized for hiccups, but apparently the president of Brazil, 66 years old, was diagnosed with an intestinal obstruction on Wednesday evening in a hospital in Sao Paulo. And he has had hiccups for 10 days.
Everything I've seen though has led with the hiccups. Like with the way you read it, it's like, okay, so he has like hiccups because of like this intestinal thing. But like it seemed like so whimsical, like whoop, he just has like a curse of hiccups or something. It was so good. And Bolsonaro, why? I don't know why he has so many pictures of himself like in the hospital shirtless. Like
he's had COVID like 4 times or something, right?
Yeah, he's been in the hospital for way more than just that. And he's always like sending pictures of himself like in the gown and stuff. I'm just like, I don't know what his angle is. I mean, the more disturbing thing about Bolsonaro is the fact that now the burning of the rainforest, specifically a lot of the Amazon rainforest, is in Brazil. The burning of it like is now creating more carbon than the Amazon rainforest soaks up, which like the Amazon rainforest is crucial for soaking up all that carbon so it doesn't contribute more to global warming. So that will probably accelerate things. And there's no slowdown to the complete deforestation and like all out war on nature that is endemic to Bolsonaro and like that kind of white supremacist vision of what Brazil's supposed to be like. So that is super disturbing. I hope he dies from the hiccups, honestly.
He does not look good shirtless. I gotta say that. I'm actually gonna share screen this because it's really rough.
Yeah, the people need to see it.
So this is Jair Bolsonaro.
Oh,
hold on.
What face is that?
Estaremos de volta em breve. Se Deus quiser, o Brasil é nosso.
Yeah, that means we'll be back if God soon, God willing, which is funny. God, please don't listen to this man.
God's trying to kill him or is trying to like save him. I don't know.
No, I think he's saying he's hoping that God grants him a speedy recovery from his fucking hiccups or whatever. But Bolsonaro is one of the most evil fucking dudes. So I really do hope he
Trump,
dies.
I mean, Trumpian leader, if you don't know him, I mean, he's an extremely I mean, everything to do with his presidency in Brazil is a fucking disaster.
And Brazil's like a hyper
unequal
country.
He got the former president Lula like imprisoned. I mean, that was the whole fucking thing. Now Lula's out.
Yeah, and he's like explicitly said he wants to bring back Bolsonaro has explicitly said he wants to like bring back the military dictatorship in Brazil and like harkens back to those days. Brazil's like a super unequal country, especially as it breaks down by race.
My screen's just been on the shirtless Bolsonaro.
No, people need to see it. People love it.
I took it down.
Oh my god.
I share screen the shirtless Bolsonaro for a while.
I was enjoying it, dude. I was like really looking. He has so many pictures of himself in the hospital. I don't know what's going on with this dude. They always tantalize us with shitty, he counts as kind of like a conservative because he's a reactionary, I guess. But they tantalize us with these people and their poor health, but then they never fucking give up the ghost. And I don't know. All we get are pictures like this, and like I'm not a fan.
He saw this coming. He's like, I apologize to everyone who's listening to me because I've been hiccuping for 5 days now. And then he said on Facebook Live that he's had week-long hiccups. Bolsonaro's son has previously described his father as almost dead by the time he made it to the hospital following a stabbing attack in 2018.
Holy shit.
Did you ever hear about this?
He's kind of a messy bitch too.
Yeah. So if the obstruction is related to that stabbing, I mean, Flavio Bolsonaro said in a tweet, recovery messages and prayers. May God give everyone everything they want from my father in double right now.
Oh, Christ.
54% of Brazilians would support impeachment proceedings against Bolsonaro, painting a bleak picture for his re-election bid next year. I'm reading from fucking NBC News article now. Sorry. That was from NBC News, written by Chantal de Silva. Thank you, Chantal, for that summary here. Let's look at this Portland Photoshop job thing. You brought this to my attention, Sam. Oh God, I'm seeing now that you have Bolsonaro.
Yeah, this is this like
I'm gonna share my
Portland. This Portland story is like just really it's funny in a sort of extremely bleak way. This poor dude, they fucking Photoshop tattoos on him. Do you see that? They just went. Can you zoom in on the photo on the photo the booking photo versus the lineup. Come on, man. Look what they did to him.
But for our listeners, it's from the Oregonian. Portland police used Photoshop to alter a defendant's photo to make him look more like a robbery suspect. Now he'll be released from jail. That is the most fucking insane thing I've ever seen. They gave him the teardrop.
I can't believe it. They gave him and they also gave him tattoos that look honestly like dog shit. I was like, my first reaction was like, why is this guy's tattoo so bad? And now I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, he doesn't deserve this. I don't know what he did, but like, come on, man. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. People are in the comments saying that the article that's written about this is racist, but I don't know. They're saying that, well, he was no angel. I don't know. I'm not reading it, so there you go. Pretty shitty of the Portland PD to do that, but you know, listen, you have to do everything you can when you're a cop to just be a full piece of fucking shit, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. It must be fun to just be able to make up complete random shit about people and get away with it, but I don't know. That's not my thing. I like, podcasting, being nice,
and talking about Jeffrey Epstein, which is how we're gonna close out this program. Vicky Ward just dropped a piece in Rolling Stone. Sam, do you have that up?
Yeah, I do. It's titled, "What Was Jeffrey Epstein a Spy?" And this is definitely like an under-examined aspect of it's stuff that it's not like if you've been following this, is anything in this article is going to blow your mind, but it is good to see that people are starting to focus a little bit on this aspect of the Epstein enigma.
Right. What's more mainstream than Rolling Stone? I mean, it's like the professional fucking counterculture. It's like the fake counterculture.
Yeah, all those guys like Jan Wenner and shit have just like fucking private jets on private jets from all the money they made in like over the past like 5 decades of this stupid magazine. But like they do still be having some good what do you call them, articles, exposés, some good reporting in there. Matt Taibbi used to be great in Rolling Stone, as we all know.
Fuck, read him like for fucking decade.
Jesus. No, absolutely. This has, I like that this calls on what was his first name? Stephen Hoffenberg. Do you remember him from the Epstein documentary that we watched? He ran like the Ponzi scheme with Epstein and basically was like, yeah, I like this guy. And I can tell you he's a criminal because I was trying to do crimes with him back in the day.
Right.
And now he's out saying that he's like doing that. He was, knows that Epstein was an asset and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder with like these people, I'm like, is this, how much of this is like, there's a bias where you want, or selection bias where like the people know that you want to hear this insane stuff, but at the same time the paper trail between Epstein and like weird coincidences and his relationship with the intelligence agency or the intelligence community internationally is kind of hard to ignore.
And I mean, the fact that Ghislaine is in jail right now and without bail, and it's still going on, and she's been in these Zoom hearings just looking like absolute shit. Wasn't there a story that she like she wasn't flushing her toilet, like her like feces were overflowing and she got in trouble about it or something?
Oh my god. Well, hey, you say you want to abolish the police, but you think Ghislaine Maxwell should be in jail, man?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think she could get some cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Give a fuck.
Look,
fuck. That's why did you see that there was I read something, I forgot where, but maybe it was in, I think it was in, okay, I apologize if this is wrong, and I apologize to this writer if this is not something he wrote, but I believe it was Jack Crosby in the Discourse blog. I think that was where it was from. He wrote about the firing squad and that one state voted to bring back a firing squad.
What?
and
That's
how
wild.
that's like well, it's more humane than a lethal injection probably.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've heard that. I have heard that it's the most humane.
I
Is
believe
the
when you
thing with like
witness
the
a
what
lethal
where
injection, it's pretty
yeah,
intense.
I've heard it looks pretty gruesome. So it's
Yeah.
not something I ever want to see. I don't know, I guess if I had to choose, yeah, I'd go for the firing squad. It's kind of more metal. I'm all about that. I
Yeah,
have is
turn
it
me into
true that
Swiss
like
cheese. That'd be kind of fun.
that would be like so Pam. And then they give you the cigarette. That's pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie.
Really? Did they do that? Is that part of
I
it?
don't know. They do it in like movies, so I would ask for that. My last meal. I don't even smoke cigarettes, but my last meal would
Oh, I
be
would want
a
one if I was about to
cigarette.
die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not? Smoke them if you
God,
got
if
them.
either of
Literally.
us die in the next like few weeks, this is gonna be so fucking creepy.
Yeah, yeah. Especially if we're killed by a firing squad, it'd be kind
And
of a weird
I think
coincidence.
is more than likely.
Do you think that they say that the thing they say about firing squads, where they're like one guy has an unloaded gun, so that everyone has like plausible deniability that they
Well,
didn't
no, I
pull the
thought it
trigger
was
that
that
shot the person?
one guy's gun is loaded and the rest have like blanks.
It can't be one guy is loaded and the rest have blanks. Then it's obvious who shot him.
Well, no, it's not because everyone has blanks.
But my thing is like, can't you tell when you fire a gun? If you fire,
I think the
don't know. I
blanks still
guess
make a fucking noise, right?
that's a good point.
I bet like when 6 of them go off, you're not like instantly like, oh, it's that one. But I
Aren't
don't
you
know.
kind of
I don't know
putting a
anything. I
lot
don't
of
know anything
faith?
about guns. What do you think
Oh,
I know?
listen, some of y'all have never been in a firing squad and it shows. But no, the wouldn't but like okay,
Don't tell me
wouldn't
what
it
spaces I can occupy.
you
I do not.
cannot I'm
I do not.
gatekeeping. I'm gatekeeping firing squads from you,
I
Dan.
do not subscribe to your boxes. I do not check your boxes, and I do
Yeah,
not occupy the space.
uh that's toxic. Anyway, my thing with your theory about the one guy having a bullet and everyone else having blanks is it doesn't that put like a lot of faith in that one guy's ability to shoot like straight? Like what if he like shoots the guy in the arm and then the guy's like, and then they have to like line them all up again? I think it's more likely that there's one person who doesn't have a blank and then like everybody else has them. But then like you're still overwhelmingly likely to be the one who pulled the trigger. Whatever. The firing squads are cool is the moral that we're trying to get at.
The final question of the show, and this was sent in by a listener, and I want to thank our show off that Hog Planet lighter. Sam, I decided a fair price point for these is $3, so we do have them. So DM us if you want one. We can
Definitely
get you a Hog Planet themed Bic lighter for all of your.
And if you don't have $3 and you are near me personally, I mean,
Oh yeah,
I might give you one.
I mean, if you're in need of a light, I mean,
But if you want us to send you one, yeah, it's $3.
yeah. Plus shipping.
Not sure if that was what Dan was getting at, but I made up a rule. So
no, I think that was good. But the final, so we got the lighters. The final question from a listener is, what kind of hog are you? When you're at a baseball game, do you get dogs or sausage and peppers? And how do you dress the dog? And pretend you're not a vegetarian. Answer the question. Do you get the dog or do you get the sausage and peppers? And how do you dress it?
Sausage and peppers. Definitely the sausage and peppers.
And why and how do you dress it?
Well, doesn't a sausage and pepper already kind of come dressed? Am I missing something?
It's a little oily, but you can add mustard and all that other stuff. Hot sauce.
Yeah, I think I would just go with the hot sauce. I'm not big on mixing mustard with like the Italian seasoning or like
even on a hot day.
No, I don't know. The hot dog needs the mustard. If I go hot dog, I'm going ketchup, mustard, relish, sauerkraut, the whole 9 yards. Put some fucking chili on that. Like I want it to be like a big thing. But if I'm going with the sausage and peppers, I want to appreciate the sausage and the peppers. I'm like I don't know. I'm a true appreciator of it, but hot sauce, I think you can kind of add to anything. So yeah, that's where I would go with it. And also, I haven't eaten meat in years, so sorry if my question, my answer kind of sucks. Where do you stand on this as someone's like who's a lot more likely for you to want to eat this, though?
That's right. And you can follow me on Twitter at Spuventacular, and you can follow Sam at Wagstank. You can follow the show at Hog Planet. We deleted the Instagram, so it doesn't exist, but we do have a Twitter. And you can listen, tell your friends, give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Oh yeah, Sam is displaying my 3 paintings that he has kindly purchased. You can find more of those paintings on Instagram at dspaventa, at DSPAVENTA on Instagram. I have paintings; they are for sale. I have paint streams also that you can watch me paint and talk, and it's not dissimilar from Hog Planet, would you say, Sam? The Dan Paints streams on Instagram.
No, if you're a fan of the Hog Planet, and especially if you like the, visual aspect, you will definitely enjoy the Dan Paint streams. They're a good time. We get rowdy in the chat. Dan is forced to react to us and paint at the same time. It's always fun to, get in there and see what he's doing. And you've had great guests like Brendan Stipes doing his awesome ink paintings. And you've had a number of great guests, and it's been a great show. So
yeah,
I'm
our
excited
friend Ray Jed and my new friend Dave Ross also did the paint stream, comedian, and our friend Ray Jed, who did the Hog Planet show last summer, and I'm sure he'll be back on at some point. So I don't know. Is that it?
I think that's it, man.
All right. This is Hog Planet.